time's 5:32 p.m. We're back on record.
Mm-hmm. You want some?
I'm sorry. I should be direct and polite. May I please have a couple of exhibit stickers? There's attorney language and there's polite language.
Can you do me a favor?
I got you.
Great, thank you.
That was not one of the exhibits the other day. I'm going to use that one.
No?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry? Thank you. You had a chance to review the exhibit.
Yes.
Is that a July 18, 2018 email of Tom Olson to several persons, including you and Dorothy MALVEAUX?
Yes.
Did you receive that email?
Yes, I believe I did.
May I see it for a second? Were the members of the association notified in advance of the July 20 meeting involving you and Miss MALVEAUX?
I don't remember.
Okay. Were members present?
Members of the HOA?
Yes.
Okay, that was not an open board meeting.
Was it what type of board meeting was it?
It was an executive.
Was it noticed as an executive meeting?
Okay, when you say noticed,
Are you aware that there are requirements for scheduling and providing notice to members of an executive meeting?
no.
The bylaws state that the association shall be managed by a board of 5 directors. Do you dispute that?
No.
During the entire time you were on the board had 5 places, correct?
Yes.
Article 5 of the bylaw, Section 3 quorum, provides that a majority of the number of directors shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business, correct?
I don't have that in front of me, but.
Okay.
Page 5.
I'm now tendering the witness Exhibit 3. You see the section on quorum in the middle of the page?
Yes,
Does it state that a majority of the number of directors shall constitute a quorum?
yes,
Does it say the number of directors present at any particular meeting?
okay.
Does it say a majority of the number of directors shall constitute a quorum, or does it say a majority of the number of directors present at any particular meeting shall constitute a quorum?
Where here it states every act or decision done or made by a majority of the directors present at a duly held meeting at which a quorum is present shall be regarded as the act of the board.
May I see the document?
Yes.
The first sentence, does it say a majority of the number of directors shall constitute a quorum?
Yes.
The first sentence, does it say a majority of the number of directors present at any particular meeting shall constitute a quorum?
It says a majority of the number of directors shall constitute a quorum.
Okay. Section 22-213 of the Business Organizations Code provides that at a minimum, a quorum for the transaction of business by the board of directors of a corporation is the lesser of the majority of the number of directors set by the corporation's bylaws, or any number not less than 3 set as a quorum by the certificate of formation or the bylaws. What is the number of directors set by Sterling Green's bylaws?
It's 5.
Okay. What is a majority of 5?
A majority of 5 would be 3.
Okay. So having been told of that provision and reviewed the bylaws, do you still contend that 2 directors can constitute a quorum for the purpose of doing business?
Objection 4.
Yes.
Has any attorney told you that only 2 directors can constitute a quorum for a board of directors meeting?
Objection 4.
Not that I'm aware of.
You know, the July 20 minutes refers to a motion as having passed with a vote of Gloria Cox in addition to MALVEAUX and Bass. That's not accurate, is it? Because Cox had already resigned. You see the name Gloria Cox right where my thumb is on Exhibit 18, first page?
This states on July 2nd, 2018, at the monthly board meeting.
My mistake. No, Evan, where's the, do I have the exhibit stickers? Yes, I have the exhibit stickers. Okay, this is 20. That's exhibit 20. Is that email addressed to you at the top?
No.
Are you included in the persons who received it?
Yes.
Did you receive that email?
I'm not sure.
But that is your email address.
Yes.
And it's an email to you from Tom Olson and others from Tom Olson.
Yes, yes,
Okay. May I have the exhibit?
yes.
I'm marking as exhibit 21, an August 3, 2018 email from Susan Rice to Dorothy MALVEAUX and Linda Bass. At that time, Susan Rice was an attorney for the association, correct?
Yes.
And is she informing you in that email that there was not a quorum present at the July 20 meeting because only 2 directors were present?
Just a moment, let me read through. Yes, that's what she's stating here, but as I previously stated, was that because we only had 3 board members, 3 active board members, 2 slots that were not filled, we thought that a quorum was two people.
So it's your belief that Ms. Rice is incorrect in the statement she's making in that letter?
Yes.
Would you say that this is yet again, another example of an attorney giving the association bad advice?
I don't know if it would be bad advice, but I'm not sure.
So would it be accurate to say that you don't, as you sit here today, you don't know whether 2 constitutes a quorum for purposes of a Sterling Green Board of Directors meeting?
Objection form.
Yes, I feel that two people out of 3 is a quorum.
Is it possible that the measurement is 5 and not 3, in that you have to measure, you have to take into consideration the total number of places for directors and not the number of directors at any actual meeting?
Objection form.
That would be impossible because if you have 2 open slots, there's not a body in those slots. So then that way you would never be able to actually conduct association business. So that's why we appointed 2 people to the board so that we could conduct business.
Why not then just wait until those two people are on the board to conduct association business?
Some business can't wait. It had to be acted on.
I see. And so, couldn't a board with 3 members still do business so long as all 3 members agree?
If the 3 members worked together to do the work.
I've actually stated that incorrectly. You have to have, I think what she's saying in that letter is you have to have 3 directors at a meeting for there to be a quorum. And you state you disagree with that.
Okay, I don't know what she's saying in here.
May I see it?
Sure, certainly.
In her email, she's stating, I understand that only 2 board members were present on July 20, 2018, which means that no business could be conducted because a quorum of the board members were not present as per Article 4, Section 1 and Article 5, Section 3 of the Sterling Green bylaws. And you disagree with her analysis?
Objection form.
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware that on July 28, Susan MALVEAUX sent Susan Rice a letter attempting to terminate her status as Sterling Green's attorney?
Objection form.
Okay, we don't have a Susan MALVEAUX.
I misspoke.
Okay.
Dorothy MALVEAUX.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Can you identify a board meeting at which a quorum was present and a vote was taken and the board voted to terminate Ms. Rice's status as counsel for Sterling Green?
I don't remember that.
Okay. Do you know why MALVEAUX wanted to terminate Sterling Green's relationship with Ms. Rice?
Objection form.
No, I can't answer for her.
Did you want to terminate it?
Yes, I did.
Did you want to terminate it because of the advice she gave you about a quorum?
Objection
No.
form.
Why did you want her terminated?
Because when I had questions and I talked to Susan, she didn't, to me, explain it the way where I would actually understand. You know, she probably know her job, and sometimes when you know something, then when you are explaining to someone else, is not broken down where you can understand it, and that's happened to me on several times, and it was like she wasn't being effective.
Did you understand the email containing the exhibit we just identified where she made comments about the quorum?
Objection form.
We're putting aside whether you agreed with the email, did you understand it?
Objection form.
Well, I understood what she put in there.
Okay. Were you aware that Sterling Green was giving some members discounts on their assessments?
Yes.
And why was Sterling Green giving some members discounts on their assessments?
They were the senior citizens.
And were they giving discounts on assessments for any other reason?
Not that I'm aware of.
Were they giving, Ms. MALVEAUX testified they were sometimes would give discounts based upon circumstances.
Objection form.
I don't know.
I'm gonna mark as deposition exhibit 22, Sterling Green financial transactions. And it is a list of transactions for various members. For years between 2006 and 2000, I think they go up to 2007, 2018. While you're looking at that, can I ask you if you can identify by date a board meeting on which it voted to authorize the granting of discounts to senior citizen members on their assessments?
I don't recall the specific date, no.
Did it occur while you were on the board of directors?
Yes.
Do you recall the year?
No, I don't.
Do you know whether Sterling Green giving discounts to senior citizens on their assessments is legal?
Objection 4.
No.
Did you know that Dorothy MALVEAUX waived some assessments altogether?
No, no, I didn't.
Does that come as a surprise to you?
I had no idea, so I don't know.
Do you think that was appropriate?
I don't know the circumstances.
So the circumstances might make it appropriate.
Well, I don't know what you mean by appropriate.
To change the subject for a second, when I said earlier that I assumed that you've always acted in good faith while on the board of directors, it's not my place to assume that one way or the other, so I apologize if I was misleading about that. This case isn't about you, but part of the discovery is about all of the directors, so I just wanted to say that I don't know whether you acted in good faith, but that's neither here nor there. My question about the document you have in front of you is this. Does that document reflect partial or complete waivers on assessment fees during the period of 2006 to 2018?
Objection 4.
I have no idea because I've never seen this document, and
May I see the document, please?
certainly.
I'm gonna go look start before 2. I think you want to go to the last page.
The last page for Ruth Abrow. Does it indicate that the 2018 assessment was waived?
Objection 4.
That's what it states here.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to hand you the financial transactions for Lydia Longoria that's part of Exhibit 22 and ask you if at the bottom of that page it indicates the 2018 assessment had been waived.
Objection form.
That's what it states here on the form.
Okay, thank you. Is it possible you were shown this document at an April 2nd, 2018 Board of Directors meeting?
No, I stated that I had never seen that.
Is it possible you were informed of the practice of issuing discounts at the April 2nd, 2018 meeting?
No.
Are you aware that the practice of giving discounts on assessments is illegal because it is a breach of fiduciary duty and misapplication of fiduciary property?
Objection form.
No.
While you were on the Board of Directors, did you understand that in the event of a conflict between the bylaws and state law controls?
No.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that because, let's see, when the state law, was that 2011 or 12 or something? But no, I wasn't aware of that until maybe a few years after that.
When did you become aware of it?
I don't know the exact year.
Do you dispute that Tom Olson was legally elected to the Board of Directors in March 2018?
Yes.
Why?
Because it was my understanding that if your name was on the ballot, that you could not physically walk in with the ballots in your hand and turn them in.
Were you aware that Susan Rice had informed the association that Tom Olson had been election to the Board of Directors complied with applicable law?
Objection form.
I'm not sure about that.
Did Tom Olson deliver ballots or proxies?
They were essentially, I think, the same thing. They were a proxy with the people's name, with the people that was running for the board with their names on there. So it was like a combination.
Do you know what a directed proxy is?
No.
I'm tendering you Exhibit 23, which is an affidavit of Livingston Hampton. Does that document indicate Olson received 264 votes for a place on the Board of Directors in the March 2018 election?
Yes, it does, and I had not seen this document before.
I'm sorry. Do you believe Gloria Cox was elected to the Board of Directors in March 2018, correct?
Yes.
Do you contend that there was anything improper about her election to the board?
Not that I'm aware of.
Use the same proxy.
And on were you aware Susan, strike that, did Susan Rice attend the March 6, 2018 election?
Yes,
And it was held at a meeting of the members that occurred on that date, correct?
yes.
Did Susan Rice oversee the election?
What do you mean by oversee?
Did she observe it?
Yes.
The number of votes Tom Olson got at that election is well in excess of 200, isn't it?
Yes.
Oops. There, I'm going to enter them as a single exhibit.
Back page to that.
I think we need another, oh, here it is. I'm going to hand you what's been identified as group exhibit, or exhibit 24. Documents relating to the April 2nd, 2018 meeting of the Board of Directors. Do you contend that the April 2nd, 2018 meeting of the Board of Directors was given an improper advance notice?
I can't say.
Did you attend the April 2nd, 2018 meeting?
Yes.
The agenda at that meeting included a discussion of an investigation of the Department of Labor and expected settlement that would involve payment of $80,000 to $85,000 to Sterling Green to settle a matter that arose out of Sterling Green's hiring of security guards instead of a security company. Were you aware of this Department of Labor investigation?
At the time of the April meeting,
As of today, I'm just curious as to what knowledge you have of it.
If I remember correctly, I remember Tom giving us a folder with the information that the officer that I guess did the audit, and what she came up with. But I don't remember which meeting that was.
Were you aware that Sterling Green, while Dorothy MALVEAUX was the manager, had hired security guards instead of a security company as required by law, and then failed to pay the security guards overtime?
Objection 4.
Wow. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You're not sure if you were aware of it?
Yes, and I'm not sure of the payment.
Well, I'm not interested in the payment. I'm interested in the acts that Sterling Green was accused of by the Department of Labor. Were you aware that Dorothy MALVEAUX attempted to convince a security guard to waive his right to overtime?
Objection 4.
No.
Did you and Dorothy MALVEAUX ever discuss this matter?
No.
Had you been notified by Dorothy MALVEAUX of that investigation prior? Did you know anything about that investigation prior to the April 2nd, 2018 board meeting?
I don't think so.
At the April 2nd, 2018 board meeting, Tom Olson was elected president of the association. Do you claim that his election as president of the association was defective?
Yes.
Why?
Excuse me, there was only 3 board members there.
Isn't 3 a quorum? 45 minutes left.
I'm not sure. Wait a minute, let's see. I'm not sure.
The last document is there is a resolution authored by, drafted by Susan Rice. And in that document, it indicates that 2 board members are authorized to sign checks on behalf of Sterling Green, Tom Olson, and Gloria Cox. Do you claim that document is legally defective?
Objection 4.
I hadn't seen this, and it was never voted that Tom and Gloria would be put on the account at the bank.
Who was on the bank account previously? was authorized to sign checks previously?
I think it was Dorothy and the president of the association.
Can you identify the date on which a board approved, voted in favor of authorizing them to sign checks?
No, that was already in place when I was put on the board.
Were they the previous president and treasurer?
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to ask you, if I could get the exhibit back. Paper clips, fine. Do you believe that Tom Olson took money that belonged to Sterling Green?
Do I believe?
He took and kept money that belonged to Sterling Green.
Yes.
How much money did he take?
I have no idea.
What's the basis for your contention that he took money that belongs to Sterling Green and kept it?
Because he acted on his own. He would make decisions to spend money without any other member of the board's approval. So he acted on his own.
Didn't the board approve at the April 2nd, 2018 meeting the purchase of software and computer equipment?
Tom and Gloria voted for that. It was only 3 of us present. I didn't vote for it. Yes, I don't remember voting for it.
So are you contending now that a vote of 2 directors, I suppose the difference between the April 2nd meeting and the July 20 meeting is that you actually had 3 directors present at the April meeting, so there's a quorum, whereas you didn't, you only had 2 in July. So what's defective about that vote to authorize the purchase of computers and software?
Objection form.
What was defective about?
The April 2nd meeting, 2018, authorized the purchase of software and computers, correct?
By Tom and Gloria Cox, yes.
So do you contend there was something deficient about that vote?
I'm not sure.
Were they, if you believe they were not authorized by the board, if you believe the board did not authorize or improperly authorize the purchase of computers and software on that date, please explain the basis for that contention.
Objection form.
These were items that was not discussed prior to them being brought out at in an open homeowners meeting. So I had no idea how the software was supposed to work. Why did we need to change software?
I'm going to show you the agenda that was published in advance for the April 2nd, 2018 meeting. Doesn't it say computers and top software on that page?
Objection form.
It's stated here, but I did not see that before the meeting on April 18th.
Did you see it because did you not see it because you received it and failed to read it, or are you contending that the agenda was never published?
If it was published, I don't know when and I don't know where it was published.
So since you don't know when and where it was published, it must have been improperly noticed?
Objection form.
That I have no idea.
Okay, back to my original question. Do you have any other basis for your contention that Tom Olson lined his own pockets with Sterling Green money other than that he spent Sterling Green funds on things like computer equipment without authorization?
Yes, having a party at the association with alcohol, food that was catered and that was not approved, and he was opening up the association to have a problem because when you serving alcohol, it's just sitting there and people. So then the association could have been sued if someone had gotten into a car driving.
How does that translate into Mr. Olson lining his own pockets with association money? I understand you think the purchases were improper.
Yes.
But my question is, I'm trying to find out if you think that he took money and kept it, not spent it, kept it, or spent it on items for his personal benefit, such as items in his home.
I have no idea if he bought anything for his home.
Did he take money from the association and put it in his bank account?
That I don't know.
Did he take money from the association and put it in his house or otherwise hide it or otherwise keep it from the association?
Since I didn't have access to the bank, I couldn't go in there and look to see if anything was being taken out.
Yet you're still contending here that Mr. Olson took money from the association and kept it. All you've been able to cite in support of that is making improper purchases. So I'll ask you the question again because it hasn't been answered yet. Can you cite any evidence or any documents or anything on the planet that supports your contention that Mr. Olson took money from the association and kept it?
Objection form.
That I'm not sure.
So you're making a contention that somebody engaged in a crime without any basis for it. Is that correct?
Objection form.
I didn't say that.
Do you believe that Mr. Olson failed to exercise due care in performing his duties as a member of the Sterling Green Board of Directors and as president?
Yes.
Basis?
His actions.
And what actions?
One specifically was carrying a gun, loaded gun onto the property and firing it in the pool.
Anything else?
I'm sure there's probably something else, but I cannot think of anything else right now.
Why are you so sure there's something else?
I said probably.
Okay. Did Mr. Olson fail to act with integrity in performing his duties as a member of the Sterling Green Board of Directors and as president?
Yes.
How?
The way that he talked to people, the actions that he would take on his own. He didn't have any respect for someone else's opinion.
And you think that bears on his integrity?
Yes.
How?
Because he felt like that he could do whatever he wanted whenever.
What does the word integrity mean?
That you live and you work and you do things by a certain code.
What code is that?
I guess every person have their own, but it would be that by the golden rule or by the good book.
Can you cite any specific examples of Mr. Olson failing to act with integrity?
Yes, when he shot that gun in the pool.
Was anyone injured as a result of him firing the gun underwater in the pool?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Were you present when this incident occurred?
No, I wasn't.
Do you believe Mr. Olson exercised corrupted business judgment while performing his duties as a member of the Sterling Green Board of Directors and as president? Do you know what I mean by the phrase corrupted business judgment?
No, I'm not sure, no.
Do you think Mr. Olson, in serving as president and as member of the board of directors, conducted Sterling Green business in a way designed to provide him with a pecuniary benefit?
Can you explain that?
Did he, for example, arrange for Sterling Green to do business with companies that he owned in whole or in part?
I'm not aware of any companies that he's associated with.
Did he attempt to enrich himself through his conduct of the affairs of Sterling Green?
I'm not sure.
Did Mr. Olson make any false representations to you or anyone else affiliated with Sterling Green while performing his duties as a member of the board of directors and as president?
I'm not sure.
Can you cite any specific examples of him making misrepresentations?
Objection form.
I'm not sure.
Do you believe Mr. Olson took personal property that belonged to Sterling Green?
Yes.
What personal property?
I think there was an iPad, and I'm not for sure if it was anything else.
Do you believe Mr. Olson obtained a monetary or financial benefit from Sterling Green through fraud, duress, or taking undue advantage?
I'm not sure about that one.
Do you believe that that the decision to terminate Unique Security by Tom Olson was made with less than ordinary care? Do you know what Unique Security is?
Yes, that was the security firm.
Were you aware that Unique Security was refusing to purchase gasoline for its own employees working at Sterling Green so they could not properly police the Sterling Green community?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Did you have any personal involvement with supervising Unique Security?
No.
Did you know that Dorothy MALVEAUX purchased gasoline for Unique Security?
Objection form.
Do you know why she hired Unique Security?
Objection form.
No.
Can you identify the date of a board meeting at which it authorized Dorothy MALVEAUX to hire Unique
Objection
Security?
form.
I don't remember that.
When did you leave the board of directors, and what month and year?
My term was up in March of 2019.
Do you have any knowledge regarding, Sterling Green has employed a lot of lawyers, correct?
Yes.
Do you know if it eventually found one whose advice it liked?
Objection form.
It's not that you like their advice, you want good legal advice.
Right. Sterling Green was involved in multiple lawsuits in 2018 and 19, correct?
Objection form.
Yes, I think so.
And there was also a receivership that involved, for which Sterling Green needed an attorney.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some questions about attorneys, but they're going to concern the case brought against Mr. Olson. Do you know whether Zach Huang performed work in connection with Sterling Green's lawsuit against Tom Olson?
No.
You don't know one way or the other.
No, I don't.
Would the same be true of Susan Rice?
That she performed duties for,
Did she perform any work on its lawsuit against Tom Olson? Do you know one way or the other?
no, I don't.
Would the same also be true of Eve Engelhardt, Mitch Katine, and Seth Kretzer?
I don't know who they are.
Okay. Do you know who Andy Garza is?
Yes, I do.
While Mr. Olson was on the board, Sterling Green, through Mr. Olson, had to borrow $4,300 from him to make payroll to ensure that Sterling Green employees actually got paid. And the reason they couldn't get paid was because of a disagreement among board members. Do you recall that?
Objection form.
No, that's not my understanding of what happened.
Tell us what your understanding is.
Okay, my, excuse me, my understanding of the situation was that the employees were going to be paid through the association, and they told the lady that was going to pay them no, that they did not want her to pay them because Tom was going to take care of it.
What lady are you referring to?
That was the treasurer at the time, and it was Ellen Pollock.
So the association didn't pay the employees because the employees told them that they didn't want to be paid by the association. Is that what you're telling us?
Objection form.
I'm only telling you what I was told.
By whom?
By Ellen Pollock.
Who is Ellen Pollock?
She was the treasurer.
When was she, can you identify the date on which the board voted for her to have her serve as treasurer? 10 minutes?
No, he's gonna run out of card space in his device in minutes, so he needs to take a break.
Okay.
Off the record, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, time's 6:32 PM, we're off record.